paid my dues time after time. I did my sentence, committed no crime, and bad mistakes I have made a few. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, and I have come through. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions, we are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. I ask my stand and my curtain call. You brought me fame and fortune, everything that goes with it. I thank you all, but it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. I consider it a challenge before the human race. I'm not gonna lose. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions, we are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions, we are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
You are listening to Maga on radio. You are listening to Maga on radio. Where Maga comes first, where Maga comes first.
You are listening to Maga, first news with Peter Boykin. You are listening to Maga, first news with Peter Boykin.
Yes, you're listening to Maga First News with Peter Boykin on Maga One Radio, all part of the Maga Network. So folks, man, there's a lot of news to talk about today. Number one in the news, AT&T just won bigly. So a judge clears $85 billion bid for Time Warner with no conditions. So he didn't oppose any conditions on the merger's approval. He also urged the government not to seek a stay when issuing his decision in a closed-door room with reporters. And shares of Time Warner jumped roughly 5% in extended trading, and shares of AT&T dropped as much as 2%. Now, a federal judge said that AT&T's $85.4 billion purchase of Time Warner is legal, clearing the path for a deal that gives the pay TV provider ownership of cable channels such as HBO and CNN. I would think CNN would be a giveaway because it's not worth much. This was CNN. News never trusted ever again. As well as the film studio, Warner Brothers. Somebody just talked about how there's going to be a Wonder Woman movie, 1984, and one of the answers was if her love interest, who apparently died in the last movie, I haven't got to see it, so spoiler, is in the movie, and they said if this turns out to be some kind of 2-minute dream sequence, we're suing the hell out of Warner Brothers. And I was like, well, does that mean we sue AT&T? Because they pretty much own everything now, right? I'll also tweet about it. Look, it's a bad idea. One large-ass company should not be owning everything. I mean, all your data belongs to us. AT&T, really? That's too much. They shouldn't be owning everything. No. That doesn't work. It's not good for government, and it sure ain't good for business. And when you stuff competition, you hurt business. We know that. As a Republican, we're all about business, but we're also about controls and balance. And this big merger is something that I think Donald Trump's going to have to check into, because this is a monopoly, and they're playing without all the pieces. And this is MAGA First News with Peter Boykin. You know who else likes to deal with a lot of crazy business? You guessed it. We're gonna build a great wall. Gonna marvel over China. And you know what's gonna happen when Donald Trump shows up.
I'm here today for one main reason.
I came in like a wrecking ball. I'll never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break your walls. All you ever did was wreck me. Yeah, you wreck me. I put you high up in the sky, and now you're not coming down. It slowly turned, you let me burn, and now we're ashes on the ground. Don't you ever say, oh, just walk away. I will always want you. I can't live a life running for my life. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I'll never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break your walls. All you ever did was wreck me. I came in like a wrecking ball. just close my eyes and swung. Left me questioning and blazing cold. All you ever did was wreck me. Yeah, you wreck me. I never meant to start a war. I just wanted you to let me in. And instead of using force, I guess I should have let you in. I never meant to start a war. I just wanted you to let me in. I guess I should have let you in. Don't you ever say, I just walk away. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I'll never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break your walls. All you ever did was wreck me. I came in like a wrecking ball. Yeah, I just closed my eyes and swung. Left me questioning and blazing cold. All you ever did was wreck me. Yeah, you wreck me. Yeah, you wreck me.
Yep. Donald Trump came in like a wrecking ball and wrecked North Korea. He was able to make North Korea better again. So, this just in. It seems there's a little issue going on. And we know that I've always been a proponent of groups that should be working together. Well, the Young America's Foundation, quote, warned that Charlie Kirk could cause long-term damage. Well, apparently, the conservative kids are not okay. And that's the assessment of Turning Point USA offered by Kimberly Begg, the Vice President and General Counsel of Young Americans Foundation, according to an internal memo that was obtained by the Washington Examiner. It was quoted as saying, in order to provide guidance to students, our team needs to understand that TP USA, is it Toilet Paper USA, is unlike any of the many conservative movement organizations we have worked with in the past. Now, it states before warning that the national group and its 24-year-old founder, Charlie Kirk, could inflict, quote, long-term damage on both conservative students and the conservative movement. Here we are, folks, again. Right groups eating each other, eating their own, and taking their eye off the prize, which is the midterms, where they should be supporting people. Congratulations, by the way, Corey Stewart in Virginia. You were a proponent of us from the beginning, and we're so happy that you won. I actually called him, left a message personally. Donald Trump tweeted him. People are very ecstatic. He has the possibility of winning against Tim Kaine. But anyway, the Young Americans Foundation drew up its charter, the influential Sharon Statement, at the home of William F. Buckley in 1960, and it has been planting chapters on college campuses ever since. They organize events, bring in outside speakers, and fly students to the Reagan Ranch out in Santa Barbara, California. Now, I'm not one that usually talks about a group, and I'm sure they do great things, but I remember at a certain time that that group did actually follow me. But apparently they're not going so much for diversity in the movement. They're afraid. Their establishment. They're afraid of a change in the movement. Now, they say that TPS USA does the same thing, but only with memes, because memes work. It works on millennials. They have their own style. They have their own ways of doing it. I might not agree with everything they do, but I think it was a great choice for them to get Candace Owens to do and work with their organization. And I would like to work with their organization, but I'd like to work with any organization. We're going to see what happens with that, folks. But we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. I did talk about some of the issues with the establishment and GOP, and we're going to discuss about that right after a short break. Let me find a really good song. All right, by the way, let's just do something exciting. All right, let's do this. We'll be right back. This is Maga First News with Peter Boykin.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, cause Trump's in town. There's no need to be unhappy. Young man, Washington DC is where you need to go. I said, young man, when you can join the GOP. I said, you can. MAGA, there's many ways to have a good time. It's fun to M-A-G-A. It's fun to M-A-G-A. We have everything for a young man to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay with the M-A-G-A. It's fun to M-A-G-A. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, are you listening to me? I said, young man, what do you wanna be? I said, young man, you can make real your dreams, but you got to know this one thing. No man does it all by himself. I said, young man, put your pride on the shelf and just go there. Need you to M-A-G-A. I'm sure we can help you anyway. It's fun to M-A-G-A. Oh, it's fun to M-A-G-A. We have everything for a young man to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to M-A-G-A. It's fun to M-A-G-A. We can trigger everyone. We can defeat the liberals. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, I was once in your shoes. I said I was down with the blues. I felt that no man cared if I was alive. I felt the whole world was so jive. That's when Trump came up to me and said, young man, take a walk up the street and meet me at the White House. It's called MAGA. We can start you back on your way. And America, it's fun to MAGA. It's fun to MAGA. Young man, there's no need to feel down. Young man, put yourself off the ground. M-A-G-A, I just go to M-A-G-A. Young man, I was once in your shoes. Young man, I was down with the blues. M-A-G-A, we M-A-G-A. M-A-G-A, for you and me and America. Trump 2020. God bless America. Make America great again.
Listen to my
Thanks for tuning in, if you haven't left because of that wonderful singing, to Maga First News with Peter Boykin on Maga One Radio. And before we go into the segment about the GOP, I have something right before the middle of the hour, and I was talking about hate speech and free speech, and how the left hates free speech. So, we're going to do that first. We're going to go to the break, and then we're going to come back, and I've got a long thing about the GOP and their needed support for grassroots. So, we're going to go right to it.
Peter Boykin for Maga First News is a quick one, and in a hurry here. But, so someone in my DMs, sent me, "You've been reported for hate speech." And then they blocked me. And I went back to I had everybody blocked. So when you block me, I'm more likely going to block you, especially when you threaten me. So I blocked that one person back. But hate speech is not really hate speech in most senses. It's just speech that the liberal left doesn't like, doesn't want to hear. He didn't go, or she, or whatever, it didn't go into detail on exactly what they thought. What I was talking about was hate speech, yet they wanted to basically report it. Meanwhile, what is the worst that I've said? I've said that liberal gays don't understand what's really going on. They don't understand who our real enemies are. They don't understand that our president is doing a great job and he doesn't have to drop everything and kiss their asses. He's here. He's here for all Americans. And he's keeping America great and making America great again. Yet, it's somehow hate speech to talk about radicalized people, whether they be Muslims, blacks, whites, gays, anything else, wanting to hurt another race. So how is that radical? How is that hate speech? I'm sorry, but it's sometimes, you hate people who go out and kill people. You hate people who go into clubs in Orlando named Pulse and kill 60 people. Those are the type of people that you hate. You hate people that go and blow up bombs at Boston marathons. You hate people who go in to churches, white, black, whatever, and start shooting up the place. You hate people who go into schools and start killing people and shooting people. And the verdict, yes, out on this one. And you hate individuals who are Looney Tunes who go up to a tower in Las Vegas and start shooting multiple people. Those are the people we hate. So if I'm speaking about those individuals, if I'm speaking about trying to help you and to watch out for those who do really care about us and those who don't care about us, then yes, I am talking about hate and hate speech. Oh, my speech is about hate because I'm afraid. I have the phobia. Oh, the Islamophobia. Oh, the killer phobia. Oh, the whatever phobia. Oh, it's so bad. But at the end of the day, hate speech most of the time is not real hate speech. And I completely understand if you're worried about white supremacists or black supremacists, because there is so many black supremacists out there. There is so many other people out there to our face and gain our trust and get ourselves embedded in here, and then they'll slowly eat away, or sometimes fast, eat away at our culture and our well-being and our laws, and enact Sharia laws. Believe me, I talk about the brain. I talk to the brainwashed gays all the time. I used to be one of those little brainwashed gays until I recognized what was really going on. I recognized, why am I siding with a party who wants to murder children, murder babies, and Planned Parenthood, for one, we've already shown that they want older babies so they can sell the body parts. It's pure evil. And then the older liberals, the ones that are born, they want to rape them. Liberals, super far right liberals, are sick. They're stuck on women. They're stuck on children. They want to kill the children, or eat the children, or sell the children's body parts, or rape the children. What is wrong with them? But yeah, this is all going to be classified hate speech. The Southern Poverty Law Center will be declaring Gays for Trump a hate speech group again. I'm sure. But, folks, speech is speech. When I'm telling you the truth and you hate to hear the truth, if you hate to hear the truth, I guess that makes it hate speech. But honestly, we're just trying to save you. We're just trying to point out the inevitable. We're just trying to point the obvious out to you. But yet, somehow, when I speak, it's hate speech. Because you don't like it. And then you can sit there and report me. I'm glad that at least I have a verified checkmark by my name. It makes it a little bit harder for them to mess with me. You're not going to find me the rates of some of the other people who got removed from Twitter and other social media. I do skirt the line, but all in all, hopefully they do read everything, that I love all people, I love all colors, I love all nationalities, I love all religions. I'm not against people who are Islamic. I'm worried about the portion of the people who are radicalized. I have compared the difference between the Old Testament teachings, like in Deuteronomy and Leviticus, compared to the Sharia law, and there's a lot of the same stuff in there. It's all about what you do with those books. You can read the Quran, you can read the Old Testament, there's a lot of information in both of those. That is horrible laws about killing people, an eye for an eye, and stoning people and everything. But what happens is, what's the difference between practicing and just looking at it because of it's the Bible, or was the Bible, or something to research? And what I'm worried about is the radicals who take it too far. Now, I'm going to continue to fight the good fight against anyone who is against MAGA. And that's just how it is. This is Peter Boykin from MAGA First News on MAGA One Radio, part of the MAGA Network. And we'll be back soon.
Hailing the meeting, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump calling the summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un a success. Fox's Steve Rappaport has more live.
Lisa, President Trump saying the summit is a good start, but they have a long way to go.
I think we've done something very historic already in one way, but to me, a success is when it gets done.
The president aboard Air Force One speaking with Fox News special report anchor Brett Baer. The president also calling the breakthrough with the North Koreans long overdue.
This is something that should have been done years ago. I mean, you've heard me say it many times. This should have been done 10 years, 15, 20 years ago. This shouldn't be done now where they have an arsenal of nuclear weapons. This should have never allowed to get to this point.
Critics Critics say the president gave Kim Jong-un too much and got nothing in return. Lisa?
Steve, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo now in Seoul, South Korea to meet with the commander of U.S. forces and South Korean and Japanese officials. He says talks with the North will resume sometime in the next week, saying he doesn't know the exact timing, but expect it to happen fairly quickly after he and the North Koreans return to their nations. Citing a strong economy for the second time this year, the Fed hiking a key interest rate.
We think that gradually returning interest rates to a more normal level as the economy strengthens is the best way the Fed can help sustain an environment in which American households and businesses can thrive.
Fed Chairman Jerome Powell says it's possible the Fed could raise rates 2 more times this year. Los Angeles police investigating reports of elder abuse against Marvel Comics' Stan Lee. The investigation revealed in a restraining order granted against a man who has been acting as Lee's business manager and personal advisor. The restraining order says the former advisor, K.M. Morgan, has inserted himself into the life of the 95-year-old, accusing him of taking advantage of Lee's impaired hearing, vision, and judgment, moving him from his family home and preventing his family and associates from contacting him. Fox News, fair and balanced. President Trump's top economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, out of the hospital.
Kudlow was admitted to Walter Reed National Military Health Center this past Monday following his return from a tense G7 summit in Canada. His heart attack was described by his doctors as being very mild. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said in a statement that all indications are his recovery is going very well, and President Trump is looking forward to having him back at work soon.
Fox's Colonel Scott. A gun rights group filing a federal lawsuit challenging Maryland's ban on bump stocks, the devices that increase the rate of fire on semi-automatic weapons. The suit by a group called Maryland Shall Issue says the ban signed by Governor Larry Hogan in April violates both the federal and state constitutions. The lawsuit argues, among other things, that banning the possession of devices that are currently legal without compensating the owners amounts to an unconstitutional taking of property. A storm on Mars knocking out power to one of NASA's devices.
Dust on the surface of Mars has gotten so thick in the midst of a storm that it has blocked out views of the sun normally taken by one of NASA's Mars rovers. And now that device, called Opportunity, has stopped responding to radio signals and remote commands. The space agency says the Martian skies must be so dark, Opportunity's solar panels can't generate enough power to run the systems, and that batteries are drained. Opportunity landed on Mars more than 14 years ago and was expected to only operate for 90 days. It's been running ever since. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
You might call her ordeal exhausting. A young woman attending a music festival in Minnesota ended up getting her head stuck in an oversized tailpipe of a truck. Firefighters used a power saw to free the woman. She was cited for underage drinking. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Sending you Maga one radio. There is something strange in my neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters and Maga. But who's with Boykin? Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
And you've tuned back in with Maga First News with Peter Boykin. Now, I don't have a lot of time. An hour flies by. I've got something also a little bit better quality, I believe. But the message is here, and we're talking about the GOP. And I've been talking about them this week over and over again, and we're going to go right to it, and I'll be right back. Hi folks, this is Peter Boykin from Maga First News, Maga One Radio, part of the Maga Network. So, I got a question. I was just having a good conversation with people today. I like to randomly talk to a lot of people that I haven't talked to in a while, and I brought up the fact that, Erica, so one, there's two events going on in New York. coming up, I think, July 7th. One is ran by a friend of mine named Joby. Controversial folk guy, got punched in the face, after a Milo event. And he's been going around doing a lot of MAGA things since then. Like me, he's used a lot of GoFundMes and different things to raise funding. And, people always have an issue with when people raise funds from GoFundMes. They always ask, what did you do with the money? What did you do with this? And they're always downing and downplaying what we do. But, I've always told people that when it came down to it, I didn't have a job for a while because I was docked. When you get on the internet and you start getting in articles and stuff, people can search your name, they can find out about you, they can block you. Not only do we get blocked in, let's say, social media, we get blocked in the real world. So we have to depend on things like that in order to get things going and moving. So to have fellow Republicans or people on the right talk mad junk about individuals, unless that individual's absolutely done something very, very horrible, then I don't understand. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. So other than these two events going on at the same time, what I'm trying to do, and I've been reached out by both people to promote both events. One is Speak English event, and the other one is another like MAGA rally type thing that's going to be at Trump Tower on July 7th. Both grassroots events, both timed. They both have issues with each other. But like I reached out, because I've always been an engagement manager, I reached out to both sides and said, look, you can use it for promotion, you can be against each other, you can be counter-protesters, whatever, but in the actual end of the day, you are still on the same side. Make sure and ensure that you both are not fighting each other. You don't want to fight each other. That would make no sense. We already have enough problems from the left that we don't need interfighting. So, we need to work together. So if you want to do, show up to these events, find a way to get along and find that common ground. Now, what I want to talk about is the GOP. Now, and I'm hoping that this broadcast goes out like it should. Number one, I support the GOP. I support the RNC. I support my local GOP, who has very much helped me. Very much helped me. I support Fox News. I support conservative news. I support right-leaning news. But I've stated this before, and I've stated it again, that I don't see the support for grassroots as it should be. One of the reasons why Barack Obama became president is because of grassroots. Acorn and all that got involved. The grassroots, they got together. They pushed. They had rallies. They got things together. They were community organizers and things like that. I don't see enough of that from the GOP. I don't see enough of the GOP, and I'm sure that might be something I'm missing, but I don't see enough of the GOP investing in their grassroots. They leave everything for the local GOPs, but the problem is the local GOPs, which are growing, we have, let's say, per se, in my district alone, we have about 22,000 registered Republicans. That's just my district. Now, in the whole area of Guilford County, I mean, we got, I don't know, gobs and gobs of registered Republicans. But when we actually have a Republican meeting, a GOP meeting, we might have 50 people that show up. Because we don't have involvement. We have to get out there. We have to do the grassroots. We have the potential, and it's why they call us the silent majority. I don't know why everybody wants to stay silent. We need to have more events. Collecting funds for campaigns and things like that, I always get, well, I already gave to the GOP. I already gave to the RNC. I already gave to this and that. But I'm here to tell you folks,
I'm here to tell you folks, the problem I have with that is there's an issue with that. There's an issue. And the issue that I have with that
is there was a big spider in my face.
The issue that I have with that is that the GOP, I know it takes a lot to run an organization, but I'm calling for the GOP to set aside some of that funding. Why don't you set aside some funding for grassroots efforts? Why don't you get a grassroots team together? You know the people out there like me and others who do these grassroots efforts. And you find the best way to spend funding to promote MAGA, to promote candidates. It seems like the GOP, the RNC, they collect funding from people, and people on the right, they donate. You get so many donations and calls over and over and over again from, you know, the RNC, the DNC, and everybody that's always asking for money. Okay, and they ask for money. As a candidate, we ask for money. As a group, we ask for money. And I understand people only have so much money. But the GOP is more likely to get a lot of the funding. And I know it takes a lot to run ads and everything like that. And I know locally they did campaign, you know, give some campaign funding to help me out. But on a whole, we could get more grassroots efforts if there was some sort of grant or something that the GOP could offer. Like on your website, you could offer, and if there's something out there, I would like to know, but you could offer a, hey, if you plan on doing an event, we can get you, if you're doing an event, we can get you some funding, or we can help pay for your generator, or we can do this and that. We want you to promote the GOP. We want you to promote us. If they would do something like that, then, I mean, it could be $1,000. It could be $5,000. It doesn't cost too much to run these events. But getting organized and getting together would be a benefit to the whole Republican Party as a whole. We need to be looking for quarterly events. I mean, I do March for Trump. March for Trump, you know, can't be just me doing it. You know, it takes a lot of people. You know, it takes the whole MAGA network together to run these types of things. And that's why we are starting the MAGA network. And that's why we have things like MAGA One Radio and other things that are coming up in the future. And I know we can't depend on the GOP, and we can't depend on Fox News, because, you know, we have to start doing things ourselves. But it would be nice to have that support. You already have that in place as the GOP, the RNC. It's just kind of a little disheartening, because we see why the DNC continues to produce so many more, you know, out there. We see how the DNC basically generates like so many support, because it seems like the DNC really does know how to do grassroots. Now we see the right knows how to meme, the left does not know how to meme, but the right does not know how to do grassroots. The left does. That's why they get more support. That's why they party. That's why the GOP's always been seen as the party of a bunch of old rich dudes. The establishment. The swamp. Somehow we've got to get organizations like the GOP, Fox News, and others to start recognizing grassroots efforts and start promoting grassroots efforts. Mike Cernovich even said this. He can't be the only one doing events. Same thing. I can't be the only one doing events. We have to have more
people promoting MAGA, promoting events, promoting our candidates. And if that takes some support, we need the support from the GOP. GOP, you imagine, you could take like $1 million a year and spread that out to the grassroots people, and you would get so much return on investment. So if you're talking about money, you could get so much return on investment if you actually promoted your grassroots. We need to start filling our GOP meetings. You need to start, and I'm not talking about just giving to your local GOP sanctions, your little GOP offices, because a lot of them are struggling. I'm talking about identifying strong grassroots people like myself, hiring them on, doing something, whatever you need to do, and get us to start doing grassroots efforts in major cities. Every single state in this nation needs to have a grassroots organizer whose sole job is to promote grassroots efforts and get things going. Just like a friend of mine, Suzanne, she is doing a pack for POTUS. And she's trying to raise money for to help people and to help the grassroots. I think I got the name right. It's the Pack for POTUS, I believe. I'll get you the more details on that. But I'm going to have a discussion with her. Hopefully I'll record it and we'll have it on MAGA 1 Radio, on MAGA First News. And we're going to keep exploring the need for more promotion, more grassroots, more funding. We need to quit worrying about what did we do with this funding, what did we do with that money, or what is somebody getting rich and what are they doing with this. I've been accused of having and living it up in the Trump Hotel when I never actually stayed at the Trump Hotel while I was sleeping in my car. I did a lot of these events where I slept in my car because I spent the funding to promote events. And some events did really well. Some events had 18 people. Some events had a lot of people. You have to convince people to show up. And what we're going to try to do next is I'm going to try to do the March for Trump. And yes, I have a GoFundMe for it. I think it's GoFundMe.com/March for Trump 2019. And I'll be looking for funding for that. I have a generator. I do have speakers. I might want to get a little bit better speakers. I want to try to get something better, a better setup like they did at Moore. We need to do the March for Trump. It'll be March 3rd in Washington, D.C. this year, right after CPAC. Hopefully we'll be able to piggyback a little bit off of CPAC and get more people in. I would like to be able to charter buses to get people in. I won't be able to take care of their hotel rooms, but at least I can get them transportation, like a bus from New York or a bus from Atlanta or a bus from California or whatever, and get people there. We can work on a hotel group rate or something, but we absolutely need to start showing. And yes, rallies do work. They're a point of having a rally is because what you're supposed to do at rallies is you're supposed to kind of like award ceremonies. You know why the liberals have award ceremonies? Is so they can promote and push themselves and push their liberal bullcrap so they can snap each other on the back and things like that. That's the reason why we have rallies. Because so many times we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're everywhere, and we're getting knocked down and we're getting treated like crap and we're getting limited and we're getting just put down and censored and everything. Sometimes we feel alone. We feel like we're the only person out there. We feel like we're just not getting heard. And that's why we have rallies, so we can get heard. But we have to start working together, folks. We have to start trying to get our media organization together. That's why I want people to join the MAGA network. We, part of the MAGA network, you can work together. One of the things that the MAGA network will promise to do is that we will promote great MAGA folks, great MAGA events, great MAGA PACs. And another good thing that the MAGA network is going to be doing is one of our main charities is helping the veterans. But it takes you to help us out. I've got so many followers. Every single one of us has followers. I have already a MAGA network. The followers that I have, but I need your followers. We need everybody's followers. Together, we can make America great for everyone. And we can keep America great. And we can get out there in the midterms and we can elect great MAGA individuals, great MAGA candidates. We can promote great MAGA people. And I'm going to tell you folks, MAGA does not have to be one party. MAGA can be liberals. I'm sorry. MAGA can be Democrats. MAGA can be independents. MAGA could be libertarians. MAGA can be Republicans. MAGA can be Trumplicans. We can be a whole sorts of different things because the desire to make America great for everyone is important. So we're going to promote people through the MAGA network, all types of people. And we have all sorts of types of people on MAGA1Radio.net. We have Straightish Talk. That's a liberal gay guy and a transsexual talking about different issues, right-leaning more issues. We have Weed the People. There's a couple of guys who like weed who are talking about weed regulation, and they're right-leaning. We have Waking Up with Lady Knockers. She's talking about British news and other things, red-pilling people. God knows where she's at. We don't know exactly where she's at, but she's definitely a great broad. And we have my show, MAGA First News, on every single day at 8 o'clock Eastern with replays. And we have Real World Witness with Chrissy and Doug. They talk to MAGA candidates, MAGA people, individuals like Joy Villa and the Trump guy and Dr. Corsi and Antonio Sabata Jr. and new people will be on the show in the future. That's MAGA One Radio. That's just MAGA One Radio. And we're doing that on a grassroots level. We don't have any giant support from anybody. But it would be nice if we had the GOP would offer grants or some sort of opportunities to reach out and get those opportunities out there. So if you have help, if you have contacts, if you want to contribute here at the MAGA Network, we need your help. We need your support. We will help support you. We need to gather together the largest database ever of MAGA folks and really bring about change. We cannot just keep putting our money into the GOP or the RNC and hoping that it's just going to be put forth in what we think it's going to be put forth. I'm not knocking those organizations, but we need to understand that we win this through grassroots efforts. We absolutely win this through grassroots efforts. And that's what we're doing. The MAGA Network plans to be one of the biggest grassroots networks out there. But we do that by not fighting, not causing interfighting, to try to be engagement. The engagement managers, like I do. I have people come at me at different sides. I try to stay neutral. I try to stay Switzerland on a lot of these issues because I'm trying to promote. We are trying to promote. Us are trying to promote better understanding, better candidates, better people, a better party. We're going to need your help. Now, we're going to make a better Patreon in the future. There is a Patreon that I already created. It's patreon.com/Peter Boykin. You can go there. That money is going to the MAGA Network. One of the first things we're trying to do is we're going to get an office here locally near I am. We're going to need about $300 per month. I think the Patreon is up to about $120 now. If we had about $300 a month, we could pay for the little bitty office, like a little office that I can use for broadcasting the MAGA networks, the MAGA First News and MAGA One Radio. From there, it also can help out other people locally. It'll give a focal point. But we need funding, like everybody else. We're doing this. We're struggling to get enough funding. So if we get that, we're not getting rich. We're putting it towards something. And that's why I like Patreon, because when you go to Patreon, you're reoccurring people's donations. You are, I'm working for you. We would be working for you. If you don't like what we're doing, you can take your funding back. Now, as for that, I've got the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe's up for the March for Trump. It's gofundme.com/MarchForTrump 2019. Or you can go to the Patreon, which is patreon.com/Peter Boykin. We're going to create another Patreon soon for the whole MAGA network. That way it's not so confusing. But for now, we have that one, and it's a little established. But all that funding's going toward the MAGA network and the MAGA network's efforts. And we appreciate your support. And I hope you retweet this. I hope you let everybody know. God bless everybody. Hopefully you're going to sign up and you're going to go to more. And if you can reach out to me, my email address is peter.boykin it's peter.boykin at maga1radio.net. That's the current email address for me. So it's peter.boykin at maga1radio.net. So if you want to reach out, or you can DM me, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter, you can follow at the MAGA Network, follow at MAGA1 Radio Net, follow at Peter Boykin, follow at Victoria L. Colvin, who is the publicist, my publicist, and also the CEO of MAGA1 Radio. And there's other great people that you can follow as well. Just reach out. I hope that you'll become part of the MAGA network, and together we're going to make America great for everyone. So God bless everybody. Thank you for listening. And this is Peter Boykin from MAGA First News, and we'll be back later. All right. God bless. MAGA.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
But Hillary's a fat load, not like Melania. Come on, ya, no rival. I'm down to the nitty gritty. Too hot, hot damn. Get the GOP a wake up call. Too hot, hot damn. Too hot, hot damn. On the border, I'm gonna build a wall. Too hot, hot damn. Make Mexico pay for it all. Trump daddy's coming to ya. Trump daddy's coming to ya. Trump daddy's coming to ya. Cause Uptown Trump gon' give it to ya. Cause Uptown Trump gon' give it to ya. Cause Uptown Trump gon' give it to ya. President, if you like it or not. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Guess what I paid for this watch? Hey, 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 stop! Wait a minute. White House, I be living in it. Limos a super stretch. National debt, I'll write a check. Excuse me, they'll choose me. My speeches are prolific. I'm praising, I'm amazing. I can tell you, I'm terrific. Too hot, hot damn. Cause I got a fire deep in my belly. Too hot, hot damn. But I'm not too crazy about Megyn Kelly. Too hot, hot damn. Trump daddy's coming to ya. Trump daddy's coming to ya. Trump daddy's coming to ya. Cause Uptown Trump gon' give it to ya. Cause Uptown Trump gon' give it to ya. Cause Uptown Trump gon' give it to ya. President, if you like it or not. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Guess what I paid for this watch?